Hey, are you worried that your metabolism is going to slow down just because you hit 40? Well, stay tuned because you're going to want to watch this video. Hey, it's Becky Fox here at Team Criticalbench, and I have good news for you. Your metabolism is not doomed just because you hit 40. So here's the thing, as you get older, there's a little bit of decline in your metabolism, but the good news is there's actually a lot of things that you can be doing to help maintain and even boost your metabolism as you get older. So there's a couple different components to metabolism, and metabolism really has to do with energy. It's about burning energy in our bodies. So there's four main ways to look at metabolism and ways that you can actually help to boost your metabolism. So let me go into what these four things are, and then I'm going to give you some tips to help you on your journey. So the first one is known as resting metabolic rate, so RMR. So this is basically what your body burns at rest. So this is when you're sleeping or when you're just sitting on the couch. Yes, your body is actually burning calories. So there's things that we can do to be bumping up that resting metabolic rate. The second piece of metabolism is thermic effective food, TEF. So your body actually requires energy to break down and burn foods, and there's a certain food that you want to make sure that you're having that's going to increase the thermic effective food because it's going to take a little bit more energy to break down. Next is exercise. So yes, exercise helps increase our metabolism, whether we're doing some cardio training, whether we're doing strength training, especially that helps boost muscle and boost that metabolism. So we want to be getting in exercise into our weekly routine as well. And the last piece of metabolism is called NEAT because it is neat, and it's about movement. It's about just the things you do in your daily life that aren't necessarily exercise, but they're also not just sitting on the couch. So it could be going for a walk. It could be doing chores around your house. It could even just be like fidgeting at your desk. So all these little movements do add up as well and help with your metabolism. So with these in mind, I want to give you 5 ways that you can actually help prevent that metabolism slowdown as you are working to lose weight and just be healthy as you get older. So the first one really ties back into NEAT, and it's getting in more movement. So as humans nowadays, our lifestyles are just so very different. We spend a lot of time sitting. We're driving to work in a car, we're having desk jobs for most people, and then we're coming home and just unwinding, relaxing on the couch. So we're not really getting a ton of movement into our day. I've seen some people literally getting maybe 2,000, 3,000 steps in a day, when really a great goal would be 10,000. So we really want to be getting in more movement throughout our day. Now, it could be walking and getting in more steps. It could literally just be taking a break throughout your workday. I love to work for maybe an hour and then get up and do some stretches and move around a little bit so you're not in that static sitting position all day long. Even just standing, if you can get like a sit-stand desk, can work really well because you naturally tend to move around a little bit more when you're standing. So the key here is to find these little opportunities where you can just move more in your day, even just by fidgeting. That can actually increase your metabolism, increase your calorie burn. Our bodies like to move. They don't like to be stagnant all day long. And when our bodies are stagnant, our metabolism is going to become stagnant as well. And hey, an easy way to get started moving is with our metabolic stretching program. This is a great way to get some activity and get some movement into your day. So make sure to just check that pinned comment down below to get more details. So you've probably heard something like people will lose 3 to 8% of their metabolism each decade as they get older. And there's some truth to this if you are not doing the things I'm teaching you here that are going to help to boost your metabolism. So it's not a decline that has to happen. It just typically happens because of the lifestyle that people have. So one of the best ways that you can counteract this is with strength training. So I'm a huge fan of doing weight training because it does help boost your metabolism, it helps build strength, and it just feels good. So one of the best ways to boost your metabolism is to do weight training because it builds muscle, and muscle helps with that resting metabolic rate that we talked about. The more muscle we have on our body, it requires a lot of energy to keep it active, to keep it there, and so our resting metabolic rate actually goes up. So it's really important that we maintain that muscle. When we're spending a lot of our day sitting, guess what? That muscle starts to just waste away, and that's why that metabolism slows down, because if you don't use it, guess what? You lose it. So we want to counteract that losing it by doing strength training into our workout routine. All right, number 3 is sleep. So getting in more sleep does help with your metabolism. I know it might seem a little bit crazy, but sleep is so important to just allow our body to function at its best. We've got to get that deep restorative sleep when we get a full night's sleep. So if you're only getting 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep, it's really hard to allow our body to get the time it needs to replenish and repair. And one of those keys is we just talked about that muscle building. Well, guess what? Our muscles don't actually grow when we're doing the weight and we're doing the strength training. It's when we're sleeping at night that our body is repairing and recovering those muscles that we work so hard in our workouts. This is when we start building that muscle. So it's really important that we're getting good, deep sleep. And also the other benefit to sleep as well is they've actually shown in research that quality sleep does help with our metabolism as well. So make sure you're doing the things that allows you to get to bed a little bit earlier, have a nice night routine that allows you to fall asleep quicker, and just make sure you're doing all those things that are going to help you to get your best sleep so that you can help with that metabolism. So I did tell you earlier that there is a food that you want to make sure you're incorporating into your diet that is going to help boost your metabolism, and it's protein. We want to make sure that we're getting protein into our diet. Now earlier I talked about the TEF, the thermic effect of food, and one of the cool things about protein is it does actually take a lot of energy to break down protein. So we don't absorb all the calories from protein, but that's not the only reason that protein is so amazing when it comes to boosting our metabolism and burning fat. Protein is great because it actually helps us feel fuller from the foods that we're eating and from those meals, right? I don't know about you, but my breakfast used to be a bowl of Cheerios with some orange juice and milk, which maybe had a little bit of protein in it, but not much. But man, I would be hungry like 30 minutes later because this breakfast literally had no protein in it. Now I tend to eat eggs with fruit and things like that, but the protein in those eggs stick with me so much longer. And why is this beneficial? Because we tend to eat less throughout the day. Our body and our metabolism doesn't want us just munching and snacking and grazing all day long. This is actually not great for our metabolism, even though we've often been told, oh, you have to eat, every 2 to 3 hours to boost your metabolism. That's actually not true. There's not research to support that, and actually eating too much and too often can be the exact reason that you're feeling stuck with your weight loss and your goals. So it's important to make sure we're having protein. It's going to help us feel energized from the food we're eating. It's going to help us feel full. It's going to help us feel satisfied. It's going to stick with us, which is naturally going to help us to eat less over time. And lastly, protein is so important for those muscles. So we talked about the importance of strength training and building muscle and how important that is to your metabolism. Well, guess what? Not only do we need sleep to help rebuild those muscles, but we need protein because that's what muscles are made of. So we've got to make sure we're getting in enough protein to help build those muscles and indirectly then help boost that metabolism. And lastly, it's so important to make sure you're eating enough food. Now, I know it's common nowadays with the diet culture that we have out there to just cut calories, cut calories, cut calories. And I see women and men eating, 1,200, 1,000, 800 calories a day. And for most people, this is just way too low. Our body does not like it when we cut too low. Yes, we don't want to be overeating. We all know that's not going to help us to lose fat, and it's not going to help our metabolism. But we can't just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. There is a point of no return where we're actually doing damage to our metabolism. See, when our body thinks it's starving because we're not actually getting in the food and the nutrients and the energy that our body needs, it starts to slow down our metabolism. And it does that, the first thing it's going to do is start to burn off that muscle, because that muscle, like I just said, it needs a lot of energy for us to maintain that muscle mass, right? So as we're cutting out our calories, our body goes, let's get rid of that thing that requires a lot of energy so we can conserve energy. So you're gonna lose muscle mass, you're gonna start to slow your metabolism down, and in the long run, this is why so many people will diet and lose a lot of weight, but then as soon as they go off that diet, not only do they gain that weight back, but they actually rebound. So let's say you just lost 20 pounds, now a lot of people will gain 30 pounds back. back because we've slowed our metabolism down. And what we ate before now becomes a surplus. So we have to be really careful of doing this, especially over and over again. And for a lot of people over 40, what I found is these diets that worked really well, let's say when they were 20, now stop working as good as they used to. And that's why we're seeing that metabolism start to slow down. So we have to be really careful of doing these diets over and over again, because it can get to the point where they do stop working, okay? Because we damage that metabolism so bad. But don't worry, you're not doomed forever just because if you've done these things in the past, don't worry. By doing the things that I shared here in this video, you can start to boost that metabolism back up again. So we wanna make sure we're getting in enough food. Now there's not a 1 calorie count for every single person that you need to eat because, well, everybody's different, everybody's unique. But if you're eating too low of calories, you're gonna know. You're gonna be cranky, your hunger is gonna go through the roof, your cravings are gonna go up like an astronomical amount. You guys probably know if you've been there before. So we have to really start paying attention to those internal cues that are telling us we're not getting enough, okay? We don't have to starve ourselves in order to lose weight and in order to have a metabolism that's working at its best. We actually should feel good. We should feel energized and we should feel full most of the time, okay? So really important that we're not starving ourselves and we're not going too low in those calories. So like and subscribe, and I'd love to know which tip here spoke to you the most. Let me know in a comment below. I'd love to hear what it is.